What up? What up? Welcome back to Still Broke Podcast. Your host, Marcus Moore, Encyclopedia Black, in the building. We are back with some combine information. It's that time of year. The combine is beginning. The coaches are starting to arrive in Indianapolis. You're starting to hear the press conferences. The players are on their way. And you know what? Here we go again. And this is the time when we're going to start to see things moving. We're going to talk about Ryan Poles and what we got from his press conference today. He was kind of doing the car wash, as they say, going through a lot of different media circuits, talking to them, spending a couple minutes with a lot of guys, and he gave us some information. And our job is to take this information and kind of give our opinion on that. Not saying we're going to be right or wrong, but we take the information, we let you know what we hear, what we see, and then you know what, we give you our opinion on that. But before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget, we still broke, so help me out here. Still Broke Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you see, like what you hear. But let's get to it. Ryan Poles of Chicago Bears went out there, had a couple questions today, and I'm just going to kind of paraphrase here, go over a couple things that he said that I thought that were important when it comes to the number one pick, when it comes to Justin Fields, when it comes to what the Bears are trying to do in free agency or signing their own guys. So, one question that was asked of Ryan Poles right away about the quarterback situation is how soon do they want to get into making this decision? When does he want to have a decision made? His response was tomorrow. So obviously they want to get this done ASAP. Now, there is some timing that's going on with free agency starting because they got to figure out what they're going to do, obviously, with Justin and with Caleb Williams. They're going to meet with Caleb Williams here at the Combine. Now, for me, I think the decision is pretty much done at this point in time. I think that they're probably going to trade Justin. That's not what I would do, but I think that's going to happen. And this is why. When they talked about the trading of Justin Fields, this was the first time they were actually open about it and literally said, yes, if we trade Justin Fields, we want to do right by Justin. So they kind of put it out there that, yes, that is a possibility. They mentioned that they've been in contact with Justin. They've mentioned that they've been that nobody wants to be in a gray, so they want to keep him involved in that. And if they decide to go down that road and trade Justin, he would be involved in that decision and basically get to pick his destination based on what they're receiving from the other teams that are interested in him, which is a good thing, which they do. He does deserve that. But this is openly now that they said, listen, this is a possibility. We could trade Justin Fields. Beforehand, it was a, you know what, I would have to be blown away for something, blah, blah, skippy, whoopty, whoop. You know how that goes. So they acknowledge that this is a possibility with Justin. They also mentioned that they kind of want to get this done, obviously before the draft and probably before free agency starts, during that tampering period, so you can get this done. That way they have as many options and choices as they can get, so quarterback spots aren't getting filled up, and then they can get Justin involved in that and kind of get him to the right place. So with that being said, and kind of hearing that, I say to myself, you know what? I think they're going to go that route because they've acknowledged that it is a possibility and that it's real and that we're going to do right by him and by Justin Fields. And the biggest thing for me that has been I shouldn't say my pet peeve, but just the biggest tea leaf for me is that they've just never endorsed Justin. There's never been a huge endorsement on Justin. You can easily do that and still keep his trade value. Like, endorsing Justin Fields doesn't mean that his trade value is going to go down. Like, it actually may go up. The one great thing that he said, I believe, was with Mike Florio and Chris Sims. He did say, listen, Justin means a lot to the team. Justin means a lot to me. And that's why they're going to do right by him, because Justin does all the right things. And it just so happens that they have the first pick and they have some options here. But, he did mention that Justin did mean something to him. But as far as that goes, I mean, that's really been the endorsement. I mean, they asked him what Justin needs to improve on. Obviously, he talked about the pocket presence, which they're not wrong. They're not wrong. He can definitely get better from the pocket. And I think it just comes with a maturation. Everybody knows I'm a fan of Justin. I'm not about to get into what who I prefer over Caleb or Justin right now. We will get into that later on, but he's not lying. But he did mention some good things. He did say, hey, you know what? He took care of his body a lot better this year. He also was looking downfield more, so he wasn't getting out of the pocket to run as much this year, more to throw downfield, and he improved in that area. So those are a couple things that he said that were positive about Justin, but he still didn't endorse him. It's really easy to endorse your quarterback. Like when you ask about Justin Fields, just say this. Just say, hey, you know what? Justin is a dynamic player. He's one of the most dynamic players in the NFL. Does he need to work on some things? Of course he does. But a lot of young players do. It's a part of development and part of maturation period. And we haven't done a good enough job, honestly, of developing him as fast as we should have. So we're complicit in some of that as well. But as far as the player is concerned, the guy can do it all. He has a big arm. He's big. He's strong. He's fast. He's tough. The team loves him. The team respects him. We love him. The city loves him. I think he's a quarterback that we can win a Super Bowl with. He's a guy that can be easily a top 10 guy in this league. His ceiling hasn't been touched yet. So this is a guy that has a lot of potential. His best football is ahead of him right now, and we're happy to have him. He's just a dynamic guy. We'll get all those other things ironed out, moving forward with him. But the guy is just a tremendous, tremendous player. He's a tremendous person, and we're happy to have him. The team respects him. We respect him, and he's just a great kid and a great player. We can say that. And we can still trade him. Now, you can do that. But you have to endorse him at some point in time. At some point in time, it's not always about what you do wrong. Sometimes just tell me what I do well, okay? Make me feel good a little bit. Just make me feel myself a little bit. Just make me feel like I've done something right, especially when you've been complicit in my maturation, okay? Going on a tank job in 2022 when I'm out there by myself doing what I was doing was not going to help us. Giving me Darnell Mooney as my number one receiver was not going to help us. Giving me one of the worst O-lines in the league was not going to help us. Giving up 27 points a game was not going to help us. So you were complicit in some of that. So for me, it's like at some point in time, you know what? I think they love Justin the person, but they don't love Justin the player. And they don't love Justin the player because they never endorse him as a player. And you never say the great things about him. You never say how dynamic he is. You never say what type of leader. You don't go over all these things because you don't love Justin the player. You love Justin the person. And that's going to get you traded. That's going to get you traded. So for me, I think that's where the Bears are right now. If you're asking me, I say, listen, they're probably going to trade the pick. Again, that's not what I would do. But because there's just never been that endorsement of Justin Fields as the Chicago Bears quarterback from Ryan Poles, that is, Matt Eberflus is he's not a good interview. You get nothing from him. He's like hesitating on every word he says. It's just like he don't even know what he wants to say or what he should say. The only half endorsement you got was from Kevin Warren, talking about, the size of the kid, how dynamic he is, and just saying that he's glad that he's a Chicago Bear. You got that from the president, Kevin Warren, but you never really get that from Ryan Poles. And that's okay. Every quarterback is not everybody's cup of tea, and he just may not be Ryan Poles' cup of tea. But I do believe that he loves Justin, the person. I just don't think he loves Justin, the player. And at this point in time, based on what I got from the press conference and based on what he said or hasn't said at this point in time, I think that they're going to go ahead and trade the pick. Now, we'll see what happens over these next – if it's going to happen, I think it'll happen in the next 2 weeks or so. So right at the start of the new league year. But we'll see what happens. But that's what we got, as far as that from today from Ryan Poles, and we'll see how the week progresses. But as of right now, my opinion, again, not what I would do, but my opinion is that they will trade Justin Fields. And I think if I had to guess, it would be Atlanta at this point in time. It just seems like the natural fit. But I don't know. We'll see. But we'll catch you next time. Still Broke Podcast. Marcus Moore, Encyclopedia back. We out of here. Peace.